Hello everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. I hope you're having an amazing day wherever you are. Whether you're listening on your way to work, while studying, exercising, cleaning your room, or just relaxing, I'm really happy you're here. Thank you for taking a few minutes out of your day to spend them with me. Today's episode is a little more personal than usual because I want to share the mistake that changed my life. At first, you might think I'm talking about a huge failure or a terrible decision. But actually, it was something much more common. It's a mistake that millions of people make every single day without realizing it. For years, I believed I wasn't ready to follow my dreams. I thought I needed more confidence, more knowledge, more experience, better equipment, and even more money before I could begin. I kept saying the same thing to myself. I'll start when I feel ready. That sentence sounded reasonable, but it became a trap. Days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months. Months turned into years. Without noticing it, I was watching time pass while doing almost nothing to change my future. Looking back, I understand that my biggest mistake wasn't failing. It wasn't choosing the wrong path. It wasn't making bad decisions. My biggest mistake was waiting. I waited for confidence instead of building it. I waited for motivation instead of creating discipline. I waited for opportunities instead of creating my own. At the time, I thought I was simply being careful. I wanted everything to be perfect before taking the first step. I believed successful people had everything figured out before they started. But one day I realized something surprising. Almost nobody starts ready. Most successful people begin while they are still learning. They improve little by little. That completely changed the way I thought. One afternoon, I asked myself a simple question. What if nothing changes? What if next year looks exactly like today? What if I keep making excuses? What if I wake up 10 years from now with the same dreams but no progress? Those questions made me uncomfortable. For the first time, I realized that waiting also has consequences. Sometimes we think doing nothing is the safest option. But doing nothing is actually making a decision. It's deciding to stay exactly where you are. I finally understood that nobody was coming to rescue me. Nobody was going to hand me confidence. Nobody was going to build my future for me. If my life was going to change, I had to be the person who changed it. From that moment on, I stopped focusing on huge goals. Instead, I focused on small daily actions. Reading for 20 minutes. Learning something new every day. Practicing even when I didn't feel motivated. Creating instead of overthinking. Those tiny actions didn't seem important at first. But after weeks and months, they completely transformed my habits. Of course, it wasn't easy. There were days when I doubted myself. There were days when I wanted to quit. Sometimes I spent hours working on something that very few people noticed. Sometimes I compared myself to people who were much more experienced than I was. Comparison became another mistake. When you compare your beginning to someone else's success, you always feel like you're behind. But everyone starts somewhere. Every expert was once a beginner. Every confident speaker was once nervous. Every successful entrepreneur once had 0 customers. The difference isn't talent. The difference is consistency. Another lesson I learned was that people are usually thinking about themselves, not about you. For a long time I imagined everyone judging me. I imagined people laughing at my mistakes. I imagined criticism before I had even started. But reality was very different. Most people were simply living their own lives. The fear existed much more inside my imagination than in the real world. That realization gave me freedom. I also discovered that mistakes aren't enemies. They're teachers. Every mistake gives you information. Every failure shows you something you didn't know before. Think about learning English. Nobody speaks perfectly on the first day. Nobody has perfect pronunciation immediately. Nobody knows every word. You improve by making mistakes. You speak. You make an error. Someone corrects you. Then you improve. Life works exactly the same way. The people who grow the fastest aren't the people who avoid mistakes. They're the people who learn from them. One habit that changed my life was replacing motivation with discipline. Motivation comes and goes. Some mornings you feel excited. Other mornings you don't. If you only work when you feel motivated, you'll stop very quickly. Discipline is different. Discipline tells you to continue even on difficult days. And those difficult days are often the ones that make the biggest difference. Today, I still make mistakes. Probably every week. Maybe every day. But now I see them differently. I don't ask, why did this happen to me? Instead, I ask, what can this teach me? That small change in mindset has made a huge difference. Looking back, I'm actually grateful for my biggest mistake. If I hadn't spent so much time waiting, I might never have learned how valuable time really is. Time is something we can never recover. Money can come back. Opportunities can appear again. Even friendships can sometimes be rebuilt. But today's time disappears forever. Once a day is gone, we can never get it back. That's why I try to take action much faster now. Not because I'm fearless. Not because I'm perfect. Not because I always know what I'm doing. But because I know waiting is often more expensive than failing. Every day we spend waiting is a day we could have spent learning, improving, and getting closer to the life we want. If you're listening today and you've been postponing something important, maybe this episode is your reminder. Maybe you've been thinking about learning English. Starting a business. Applying for a new job. Creating a YouTube channel. Writing a book. Going back to school. Or simply trying something you've always wanted to do. Whatever it is, don't wait until you feel completely ready. You'll probably never feel 100% ready. And that's okay. Nobody starts with all the answers. Nobody begins as an expert. Every successful person you admire was once a beginner who decided to take the first step. So start anyway. Take that first small step today. Learn as you go. Improve little by little. Be patient with yourself. Celebrate the small victories along the way. Your first attempt won't be perfect. Neither will your 5th. Or your 10th. And that's completely normal. Every mistake will teach you something. Every challenge will make you stronger. Every attempt will make you better than you were yesterday. Progress doesn't happen overnight. It happens one small decision at a time. One day you'll look back and realize that the hardest part wasn't the work itself. The hardest part was making the decision to begin. And once you started, everything slowly became easier. Maybe not easy, but easier. Because every step gave you more experience. Every challenge gave you more confidence. And every day you kept going proved that you were stronger than you thought. And maybe that single decision to begin will become the moment that changes your life, just like it changed mine. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. I truly appreciate you spending these minutes with me, and I hope this story gave you a little motivation to take action today. If you enjoyed this podcast and you're learning English with these stories, don't forget to subscribe and come back for the next episode. There are many more stories, lessons, and conversations waiting for you. Until next time, keep learning, keep improving, keep believing in yourself, and never stop moving forward. Take care, have an amazing day, and I'll see you in the next podcast.
I hope today's story inspired you to try something new while improving your English. Thanks for listening, and remember, every day is a new chance to learn. See you in the next episode, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel and follow me on my social media such as TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. Goodbye.